My name is Q. I'm an event producer in the entertainment industry. This podcast is me and my colleagues talking about how we got into the business, offering career advice, and just chatting about whatever's happening in the world today. Please enjoy.
Yeah, that's all. If you hear it on my end, like, I'm so sorry. I am on a MacBook. Good. I do not have a microphone.
It's completely fine. Can you hear like rain or thunder through me talking?
No, not at all.
Okay, it's fine. I mean, this is like episodes, I want to say 8, 9, or 10. One of those. I don't know. I'm up there, almost to the double digits. So
I know. I saw that you uploaded 2 today, right?
Yeah, I'm uploading 2 today. I'm waiting on. I'm uploading 2 today. Then I should be getting another one out by Monday or Tuesday. So
awesome.
They're coming in. It just takes a while to edit.
Of course, yeah. No, that's so cool. I'm so excited for you. Like, literally, when I saw that, I was like so happy for you because, like, I first of all I just love seeing like all of my friends and colleagues, especially like being able to like turn this situation into something better, and like they're finding their time to like do something, and it's just really cool to kind of see that. Like, I love seeing that. I love seeing the creativity of that, and I feel like I've seen quite a bit of it, luckily, which has been really fun. So yeah.
Absolutely. But I don't want to mess it up. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's just Nguyen.
Nguyen. Okay. All I do is win,
exactly.
No matter what.
I can't tell you how many times I use that during student gov elections in school. Yeah. I won every single one of them, obviously. Because
that's dope.
You're not.
Great marketing. That's all it takes.
I know, right? Yeah.
Dude, bro, when I reached out to you about doing this episode, I literally had anxiety attacks because that's how mad I got about this whole situation with Astroworld. I was driving. I was just, my lady would be like, yeah.
It's crazy. I like put on all black again today because I haven't worn all black in so long. Like, it's been literally, when Corona hit, officially, I guess, for me, I was like on a show. I was literally at a show, and we had to pack the truck up and everything. And, it was like, we're done. So after that, I literally just came home. But I haven't worn all black since then. And I like haven't traveled. Yeah. So it's been weird, but yeah, no, I feel you on that. I was like, I'm gonna get dressed today. And by dressed, I mean wear what I would normally wear to a show.
Absolutely. I had to pull out my Astroworld hoodie I got after the festival.
After, because the lines during the festival were unreal.
That was probably I probably had 2 or 3 moments out of the festival that I enjoyed, and one was being there before the crowd got in to be able to get merch. Because I wouldn't get on those merch lines if I didn't get there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that was, it was ridiculous for sure.
Yeah, kids were telling me they waited like 3 hours. I'm like, you waited 3 hours for a t-shirt? Nah, bro.
But we waited 3 hours for food. So, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, that's for like the basic things.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the episode. Let's get into it. And I guarantee this episode is going to be like 2 to 3 hours. Because we got a lot to get off our chest.
It's going to be so fun. I love it.
Oh, man. So welcome to another episode of the Q It Up podcast. I have an amazing person on the line. I had the opportunity to work with her doing one of the craziest festivals I ever worked. I work with her at other shows here in Houston, and she does a lot of different things, just not in Houston, but in Austin, and she holds a lot of clients. I'm excited to get to talk to her about everything she's a part of. Please welcome to the stage, Angie Nguyen. Yay!
Oh my gosh. Hi. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, Angie, first of all, I just want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where you from, etc.
Yeah. So originally I'm from Louisiana. I moved to Houston. This August will be 4 years for me since I've been in Houston, and I am literally just a freelance event coordinator. That's like the best way for me to describe what I do, because as you know, someone in our position, like, I can't tell you the number of titles I've had, the number of things that I've done. So it's easiest for me to just say I'm an event coordinator, which can literally mean anything. And I do, music festivals with you, clearly. But I also hold a lot of like corporate clients. I'm currently working with a lot of them now since all of our music industry stuff has stopped. I've gotten a lot closer with them because of all of this. But yeah, I can do anything from a small conference to a wedding, to a music festival, to a concert tour. It really just depends on what you want me to do.
Have you done any weddings?
Yeah, I have. I try not to do them. They're not my favorite. A lot of them, they're just very repetitive. So they're just like not my favorite thing to do. But I will pick maybe like 1 or 2 every year to do, depending on the person, depending on like the size, and just like if I actually feel like a connection to this one instead of just doing a run-of-the-mill barn house with some mason jars type of thing.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, COVID-19 obviously has affected everybody, and of course it affected the music and entertainment business as a whole. Like sports for me.
Oh yeah, sports. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like me and you, like when we're in Houston, like when we're not like out traveling and like doing a festival or something, like I use Houston at like the reason why I actually stayed in Houston was because of sports. Because like, I mean, I can do what I do literally anywhere in the world, like honestly. But I love the fact that I'm in Houston and I can actually lean on having sports for when I actually am in town, and I can do the sports events here, which is what I've always done, and I can't do that yet either. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got emails about, MLB still in talks.
Yeah.
NBA is talking about opening up practice courts this weekend. In NFL, they're going as if we're going, as if nothing happened. Like they think we're going to kick off like the season's just going to start on a regular date. I just don't see it. I just can't envision it right now.
I am definitely going to be really like I'm very interested to see like how it's going to play out because obviously the NFL and NCAA like college football and everything, they haven't really said anything. They haven't like released anything as far as like these are the precautions we're taking. This is what we're going to need to do to like make sure everything is safer and whatnot. But on another hand, they do have a little bit more time, I guess. I would say if they don't have any kind of like actual procedures or anything out by like mid-June, that's when we should definitely start worrying, because it takes a long time to implement everything that has been thought of to make sure that everything can go well. So I think by then, if they don't have anything out, it's gonna be pretty troublesome. But they did release all of the NFL schedules. I thought that was pretty cool that they still did that. So they're still rolling. We just don't know for sure. And I did hear that the Texans, I'm not sure if every single like organizations doing this, but I did hear that the Texans are like officially hiring someone as like their health and like safety compliance manager to like kind of oversee all of this. So that's really good. Like they're definitely making strides. They're just not doing it publicly right now.
Yeah, it's understandable. I had a meeting with them earlier this week. I had a whole bunch of questions, just like the training camp alone. I was just like, that's 3,000 people that close to the players.
Absolutely. I remember, I literally remember working training camp, like those like, what was it, 5 a.m. call times until like 4 p.m. or something like that. So almost a 12-hour day. But yeah, like, I mean, that's so much work. And not only that, it's like the stuff that we do, we're touching everything. Like there's no way for us to not touch things. And it's a sweaty sport. So, that's already kind of going to be a bit of a problem, considering this does spread by sweat and things like that. So it's concerning, but I think we're gonna get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure the players are like autographs, fan touching. Nah, we're not doing none of that.
I know, and that's like kind of the worst part about all of this is like that's like such a big part of sports is like being able to interact with the fans, and so not being able to do that anymore, because I honestly feel like moving forward in this industry, there are going to be so many less meet and greets. Like VIP meet and greets like no longer exist. Like it's going to be, here's a VIP, you're going to buy a VIP ticket. We'll give you like closer seats and we'll give you like a little merch pack, but that's it. Like you no longer get to like see them or anything like that. And that's really sad, because I know a lot of people that do spend a lot of money on these things. We've obviously worked a lot of the VIP meet and greets. And it's, they don't care about their seating. They just want to be able to see the person that they idolize. And that goes for sports teams too. And you don't even have to pay to meet them. You can just stand on the side and, hope one of them come up to you. But now they're not going to do that anymore. And that's, that's like so sad to think about.
Absolutely. As soon as it happened, I'm like, oh, meet and greets out of here. Not even close.
Totally gone. Yeah.
Throw them away. Don't even bring it up. Then that Justin Bieber tour, the fact that he had a meet and greet, I was excited about it, because I'm like, the last tour he had a meet and greet and ended up canceling that, and I was a part of that, and I was really bummed, because I'm like, man, people was looking forward to that.
Right.
Now this tour came around and he was supposed to be doing it again. I was like, I'm just curious on how we were going to execute that, but now it's just not even. I don't know if he's going on tour again, because he was doing the stadium tour.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's stadium tours have been essentially
Canceled.
postponed or canceled. Yeah, and postponed these days just literally means we're going to cancel at a later date.
Yeah.
But we're going to tell you that it's postponed for now,
Yeah.
which really sucks to think about because like I obviously want everything that's postponed to the fall to happen, but it just doesn't look super promising right now. I hope that they can find a way to make it happen because that would be ideal. I mean, I think everyone needs what we do more than ever, and that's like something that I've been like trying to hold on to, and something that like a lot of people in the industry have like been talking about is like when all of this is over, like you can't imagine what people are going to need, and one of the biggest things is going to be what we do and how we do it, and you know, doing it really well to execute it and make them feel normal again.
Absolutely, I agree, and I kind of feel bad because me and you, we kind of have our everyday job and events and stuff with side stuff.
Yeah.
So you
Oh
have
my
people.
God. Yeah. So like that's like something that I have been trying like so hard to be like as I guess like empathetic to as I possibly can because like I mean obviously like I've lost a lot. I'm not gonna lie about that. Obviously a big chunk of my job comes from doing festivals, and I did lose quite a few festivals. Comes from doing concert tours. I did lose a bunch of those. Yeah, so that's, I mean, I'm not saying that I definitely was not affected by that, but am I lucky that I have my corporate clients here in Houston that have shifted me into other positions so that I can still get paid? Like, absolutely, like 100%. Is it like a huge pay cut? Like, well, yeah, absolutely, definitely. I'm like not getting paid as much as I normally would be for a spring and summer festival season that's about to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not like, I'm not in the same boat as a lot of our colleagues that we have who literally only do music and film, and you know, the guys that are only like strictly in the arts, like this is so hard for them, and you know, I want to be able to like be there and support them for like anything. So yeah,
Absolutely. It's just like that survivor remorse. I had this the same feeling when Harvey happened, because when Harvey happened, my side of the street didn't get flooded, but literally right across the way.
Yes, exactly. So like that's what happened with my house. So when Harvey hit, I had just moved into a studio. I'd been in my studio for probably like 5 months at that point. But like I got stuck in Austin I was at a show and ended up just getting stuck in Austin because I couldn't drive home because all the streets were flooded. But like my house was like totally fine, and I felt awful because like literally like 2-3 streets over, like completely flooded, and I was just like, oh my God. But at the time, so I was at a show, but when Harvey hit, I wasn't actually working events full time. I was still a scientist working in the oil and gas field. So when that happened, when we were like finally able to go back to work, the company that I was working for, luckily they were just like, we're not going to worry about work. We're just going to go and fix all of our employees' houses that were affected. So we spent literally almost 2 weeks just going out and demoing houses and cleaning up. So it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That was definitely really cool of them to do that.
Absolutely. I forgot you told me you were a scientist. I definitely wanted to talk about that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So how'd you get into the science field, and what made you pivot to entertainment and events?
Yeah. All right. So that's like, it's obviously one of the most asked questions when it comes to me. And I don't blame people for asking me this because it's like, what? It literally makes no sense. But when you do hear the backstory, it does make sense. So in college, I obviously studied science, and studying science was pretty grueling, just because, I mean, it sucks. You're taking all these like really ridiculous classes like Calc 4 and Organic 2, and just, it's not fun. There's not a whole bunch of fun that happens in studying science full time. So I needed kind of like an escape from that. And so what I did was I was getting involved in student government at LSU. I was on the entertainment board. You know, we hosted the spring concert every single year. So doing that was kind of like my escape from doing science, because like it was like science 24/7 with me, until I had to go and do these like meetings and, you know, put on a show or something like that, or do an event. And then every club that I was in, I was always like the event coordinator for that club. Like I would kind of put together all the alumni events and all of that stuff too. So that was kind of like my outlet. So it started out as a strictly hobby, like this is my side, this is my like stress reliever from getting away from science. And then eventually it turned into me spending summers going on festival tours and like working outside of science and doing that. And then when I graduated, it was time for me to make a decision. It was like, you're either going to use your degree that you spent a lot of money on,
Oh yeah.
or you're going to do events, which you know you love, but you don't know if you can make happen full time. And I mean, as you know, like when you're in your senior year of school, you're already applying for jobs. I hadn't applied for any event jobs because it never really like crossed my mind to like make this full time at the time. So I had already had like an offer ready for me to go as a scientist. And I was like, I can't just not say yes to this. Like I already have an offer. It's a great offer. I'm going to move to Houston and like, let's just do it. Like, let's use the degree. So I did use it. I'd used it for a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I just kind of realized in those 2 years, like no amount of money that I was making, because I'm not gonna lie, like for a 22-year-old, I was making a stupid amount of money. Like to be honest, I don't think any 22-year-old should make that much money because like that was unreal. And I was like, it doesn't matter how much money I have because I don't have anything to use it on. Like I'm constantly working. I couldn't take any time off. I was working every other weekend or at least every single Saturday. So it was just one of those like defining moments when I like was like, I don't think I want to spend my 20s doing this. Like I really don't. This is going to be the only time for me to leave and do what I want to actually do. So I literally just bit the bullet and did it. I was like, I gotta go. I like literally told my boss, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I appreciate everything you have done for me, but I can't do it anymore. I'm way too young to be doing this. And so I left and I started freelancing. And that was probably the hardest year that I've ever had to go through because I'm freshly like new into this whole freelancing event world. But I'm not young. That's the thing. Like, well, I mean, I'm young, obviously. I was 23, but I was like young in the fact that like I'm just now starting to freelance, right? Like everyone that's been doing this had been doing this since they're like 18. And like here comes this like old 23-year-old, like, hello, hi guys, like I'm here to join the party. And so it was like me learning everything on the fly because I obviously didn't go to school for this or anything like that. But luckily I had enough experience at LSU planning spring concerts and doing all the different alumni events and doing all of that I felt comfortable enough like being able to like showcase the skills that I did have. And then on top of that, being able to spin the fact that I do have a science degree and I was a scientist just kind of proved to a lot of people that like I can think very logistically. My brain works that way. So I kind of just spun it in a way that was like, yeah, I was a scientist, but here's what, like, here are the skills that I learned from being a scientist, and this is how I'm going to apply it to doing this event. Like, if there's anything I know how to do, I can solve a problem, and I'm going to solve it pretty quickly because that was like that's the only thing you need to know how to do in science. Is you better solve that problem, you better do it, or something's going to blow up. So like, so it was like, so like my problem solving skills have been pretty high because of that, and it's been a skill that I've been able to like transfer over, which has worked out really well. So yeah, and I used all the money that I saved up from being a scientist to like launch my freelance career. Because I don't know if you kind of went through this, but I feel like a lot of people that are in our industry went through that like phase where you kind of just had to like do things for really, really low pay. Or you had to like do things for free, or you had to find your own lodging or find your own travel. And so like, I'm really lucky to say that I had enough money saved up that I could literally like take every opportunity that came at me for a year, whether the pay was great or not, just to be able to say I got that experience under my belt and to just kind of get myself out there and network more. So yeah. Hold on, your mic went out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, like I was saying, like I completely understand what you're saying. There were some times where I don't want to name the organization because I don't want to get them in trouble, but I had to work for free. But I was more than willing to work for free, like under the table. I didn't care. I just wanted to experience, be in the room, do what I needed to do, and that eventually allowed me to then get a paid opportunity.
Of course, yeah. And yeah, I think that's like really important in our careers. Everyone has to start somewhere. So yeah, I just happened to be one of the really lucky ones that could start doing the jobs that no one really wanted because they didn't want to pay for their own travel because I had the funds to do so, thankfully.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. All right. So yeah, we're deep into this conversation, man. I love it. So can you hear the thunder in the background?
I can hear it in my house. I can't hear it on the screen, but I can hear it in the background of like my actual house.
It's all good. I'll probably just have to deal with it with editing and stuff like that. All right. So I wanted to do an icebreaker. It's called Top 5. So whenever I worked at the Rockets, whenever we had somebody come shadow us for the game operations section, people will be nervous or whatever, and we just wanted them to loosen up. And the way we'll do that is we'll ask them their top 5 rappers, which will give us a sense of their taste in music and stuff like that. So it kind of opens up their personality. Are you into hip hop?
I am, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 of them. I want to know your top 5 rappers.
Okay, so Childish Gambino is my number 1. He's in my top 5 artists of all time.
Yeah.
So Childish Gambino, for sure, obsessed. I don't want to include him on this, but I'm gonna say him because I was listening to his album that dropped this morning. I was listening to Future earlier.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say he's like top 5 like favorite artist. He's just like on my mind currently because I was literally listening to his album that he dropped.
Gotcha.
Okay, huge fan of Jay-Z. Huge fan of Jay-Z. I feel like anytime, no matter what mood you're in, you can put him on and you're good to go, right? Let's see. Who else do I like listen to a lot of like rap when it comes to, or like hip hop, I guess. I'm gonna like literally pull up my Spotify because I feel like.
Hey, pull it up. I gotta think sometimes too about man.
For sure, yeah. Okay, so I don't want to like say this because like I don't like him as a person because I have worked on one of his shows before and it was like fine. Like he's very just like anal, which I totally get. Like most artists are, but Kanye West. One of those artists you can always put on no matter what. And it's like, as much as I like, I don't agree with a lot of like who he is as like a person. I think he is one of the hardest working ethics like out there. I think he's absolutely musically a genius and also has an insane amount of work ethic, but I still think he's a little crazy. But yeah, so what is that? Okay, we've got Childish Gambino, we've got Jay-Z, we've got Kanye West. Are we gonna go into like are we only doing like big names or are we going like all the way back to?
It's your personal list.
Okay, cool. J. Cole.
Ooh, J. Cole.
Yeah, big fan of J. Cole. And honestly, let's go Big Crit.
Oh,
I feel like I've been listening to like a lot of like lately. Like I think literally if I push play right now on my phone, I'm pretty sure Country Shit with Big Crit and Ludacris will come on right now because I think that may have been the last song that I was listening to like last night. So yeah.
That's actually the first meet and greet I took my lady to. Like I've been.
Oh really? Stop! That's amazing. Oh my god! What a freaking date.
I know she was a big fan. He was at Warehouse Live.
Oh,
and
I love that.
I don't think I was still working at a hotel and I wasn't doing a lot of shows at that point. So I was still nervous. Like, is this before the show meet and greet, after the show? But she got to meet him. She enjoyed the show, man. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. He's
I love that. That's really awesome.
Absolutely. All right, so that's your top 5. All right, your top 5 gigs that you ever work, and that includes shows, festivals, and events.
Okay, I'm obviously gonna have a soft spot for Firefly Music Festival because I've been with them for so long. Okay. This year would have been my 6th year with them.
Wow.
But obviously it got canceled, really sad. But yeah, huge soft spot for them. They were my first like festival that I worked in college, like before I even decided to move into before I even decided to be an event coordinator. This was like one of those, I don't have anything to do for the summer and I don't feel like taking summer classes. I don't feel like doing science, so I'm gonna apply for this job and see what happens. And then somehow I got it. And that was the wildest month of my life because it was 2 festivals. It was Firefly, and then we had to flip the whole festival into a country music festival called Big Barrel. So it was very similar to like how Coachella does like 2 weekends of Coachella and then the next weekend is Stagecoach. And they have a week to like flip everything, change all the signage, change the stages, change the layout, blah, 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 all of that. We had to do that too. So that was literally the wildest month of my life.
Wow.
But super soft spot for Firefly. So they're going to be up there. I am going to choose like certain concert shows that I've worked because of the people.
Okay.
When I worked Muse, their most recent tour, it was with Emily West, Tyler McKee, and Jordan. God, what's her last name? I think it starts with an H. But those three are three of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life. They are insane, so hardworking, so fun. I do keep up with them. They're so great. So the Muse show, I loved working. I was on Chris Stapleton before this happened. And the two girls that work that are Nina and Randy, and they are so funny, like so funny. I've worked with them so many times and they're so funny. So I'm going to say them, or I'm going to say that show because of them as well. When I did Panorama in New York, the very first year that it happened, like it was, I guess, conceived. We were a part of their build team, and that was a really cool festival. There was obviously it was the first time that it was ever happening, so there was a lot of missteps there. But it was like really cool to just kind of like literally watch the conception of something come to life for the first time, right? So I'm gonna say that one as well. And then my next favorite event, or I guess my last favorite event, I have a corporate client that lets me plan their intern welcome party every year. And they're like these, I think the reason why they let me do it is because they're about the same age as me, or they're like, right. I mean, when I first started with them, they were the same age as me. And then now they're obviously just a little bit younger than me because I've been with this client for 2 years now. But they essentially put me on it because they're like, you know what interns like, you know what people your age want to do to, you know, get loose and have a lot of fun. So they let me literally, like, I'm talking, they don't give me any rules. They're like, here's your budget, do whatever you want. And it's fun every year because I'm throwing a party that like I would want to go to. So
man, that's the best, man. I hate those people that's all over your shoulder. Like, what are you doing now? What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It took a lot of trust for them to get me there because obviously I have not always been in corporate events. I've always done the really fun festivals and sports and everything. So like walking into a corporate, like, you know, Fortune 500 company, they're going to be like, what is this girl doing here? Like, you know, so it did take a lot of trust, but once they realized that like, I can still put on a really boring conference that flows extremely well as, you know, create this concert that is incredible for them to go to. So yeah.
I think those are skills that translate very well. I wouldn't turn away somebody that deals with festivals because festivals, how many sponsors are out there? How many people you dealing with? Like,
oh my God. Yeah. So it's super transferable if you make it transferable. I feel like a lot of people have been really scared about like moving over from one, you know, industry to the next because they're like, well, there's like different rules here and whatnot. It's like, yeah, of course. Like, no, I can't just go to the corporate office in a black hoodie and black and call it a day. I do have to get dressed now, but that's a small price I have to pay to be able to still run a really cool event for them, and then also be able to say that I have that under my belt so that it's another transferable skill somewhere else.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. So. Totally agree, man. That's a solid list, man. All right. So you already talked to me how you kind of got into the industry, correct? Going from being a scientist, then working your first gig. Okay. So let's just go ahead and dive into it, man.
Go.
How did you get the opportunity to work the Astroworld Festival?
Okay, so I got Astroworld because I had a friend that had reached out to me. They saw a post on like Facebook and they were like, hey, this person's like looking for someone in Houston. I applied for it, but they were like, we don't really want to fly anyone out. You know, we don't really like want this. But you're like the next person that I could think of that is very similar to the way that I work. And so me and her, we've worked together on like multiple gigs and stuff. And she was like, so I wanted to personally send you like the girl's email. So I didn't like apply like through the Facebook thing or anything that I think I like applied through the contact that she had given me. And I literally just sent like an email. I was like, hey, I just spoke to, you know, my friend and she said that you guys weren't, you know, willing to like fly her out or anything, but I'm already in Houston. So if you are interested in like, you know, meeting me or having an interview, like I love the opportunity. So they called me back. I think it was a really short turnaround. They called me, and oh God, they called me on like a Tuesday or something like that. And I think I officially got the job on like a Thursday. So like literally like 2 days later, they were like, here's your offer. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much how that happened.
Yeah. Similar situation. There are certain times in the year where I just keep my eyes glued on those Facebook groups because of shows, especially when I know certain shows are coming around.
Yeah.
So I knew Astroworld Festival was happening because they posted on one of those Facebook groups looking for a travel coordinator, and they had released the dates and everything. I'm like, holy crap. I can't do the travel coordinator, but I emailed that same group and saying, hey, I can't do this job, but if you're looking for somebody else in a different role, let me know. Just staying glued to that. That's when that post came through looking for somebody to help out from a production standpoint with that company.
Yeah.
I emailed, I think, twice, and she got back to me. After the second time, she probably got back to me within like less than an hour and set up a call, did an interview. It was a little weird, but I ended up getting it. And I took it from there. At that point, I was really excited. So I have a bad history dealing with Travis Scott in the Astroworld situation. Bad history.
So Travis Scott headlined Firefly for us last year, and there were so many like production rumors going around that he wasn't going to show up. He wasn't here. He wasn't in town. Like he wasn't even in Delaware yet. Like he wasn't like, and I was just like in my own little world because I was working through last year at Firefly. I was working obviously like in the background, like I was doing like quartermaster and I was the marshal yard manager and everything. So I was dealing with a lot of like shipments and a lot of like just all of that, like any of the shipments that came in, anything that needed to be shipped back out, sponsorship stuff. So I was dealing with all of that. So I wasn't really paying attention to the stages, to be completely honest, unless it was time for the stages to get delivered. That was me. I did get those in. But yeah, like once the festival happens though, like there's nothing that needs to be like shipped in or out essentially. And so like for the festival part, I was like, I wasn't off, but I was basically off like the whole day. Like I would still be working, but not obviously to the extent that I was before and after the festival. And just during the festival, I just remember like so many background people and so many production people who were like, well, we don't even know where Travis is. Like he's not even here. Like, is he showing up? Is he canceling? Like what's going on? And then we heard that he was going to change his set time. And we were like, how are you going to do that? Like, how
headliner?
Wait, oh, I know. That's what we were like. He's headlining though. Like, so is he going on later? Is he going on before? Like, we didn't know. And then it was literally maybe an hour before the second to last headliner was going to be on our main stage, and we got an alert on our phone through the Firefly app, and it was like Travis Scott will now be performing at this time. And we were like, really? Didn't know that. Good to know. Good to find out. Like we would have showed up to a stage late, like because we didn't know. And then so he started his set. I think like an hour before he was supposed to. You're supposed to go on at like, I think it's like 9:15 or something for the headliner slot on our main stage because we close out the festival on our other stage. So there's another stage that's the last set of the show, but this show I think it's like 9:15 to like 10:45 or something like that, and that sounds about right. I think I'm getting it right on the dot, but I could be wrong. And then he ended up going on at like 8 something, and they only stayed for 45 minutes. So we had, for the first time in a really long time, we had a gap between the headliner and the person that's like closing out the festival. Like usually whenever you go to the headliner show, like you have to like run and you've already missed like 30 minutes of that other set, or you've missed, a pretty good portion of it. And by the time you get there, like they're already like midway through and they're going to finish in about 30 minutes or so. So this time he finished and we were like, oh, I have time to go to catering. Like I can go get food before I go to the last show. Like I distinctively remember like going to catering and then like going to lay in a hammock and waiting for the last show to start because that there was like such a gap because he had started so much earlier than he was supposed to.
Wow. I don't get it. I mean, dealing with a festival and dealing with that many artists, man, you have to deal with that. That will freak me out because I'm like, you're supposed to go on at this time or whatever, but you just have to.
I'm so thankful that I wasn't on that side of production at all. I was on a completely different side of production. But I do remember when all of his trucks came in to like deliver his actual stage like props and stuff, like they were really like, I don't know like what company he uses to like ship all of his stuff out, but they don't like consolidate anything. It was like 5 or 6 trucks for like 3 things. And I'm like, honestly, you probably could have just shoved all in one. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, man, you can tell the difference on who manages what artists, on how they move with, especially with a tour. It can make or break an artist's reputation and stuff like that. But I'm a big fan of Travis. I am a big Travis Scott fan.
Honestly, me too. Oh my God, his newest song out with like Gunna and Nav, like Turks.
Oh yeah.
Fire.
Yes.
It is so good.
I love the Scott. Did you watch the Fortnite concert?
Oh, I did not know, but I do love his project that he has coming up with Kid Cudi. Really excited about that.
The Scotts.
Yes.
He dropped that. That was fired. That Fortnite thing, I was really excited about that one. I was like, I don't know why I'm so excited, but I'm excited. And I waited. I hopped on. It was an 8-minute concert.
Oh, that's so
8
cool.
minutes. That's it. But it was still a cool experience.
So exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. But bad history in between me and Travis Scott. So the first Astroworld Festival came to town. And when that came to town, that was being ran, that was during his tour run. And Lane 1 was running that VIP package. Mm-hmm. And I had reached out to the coordinator at that time, and she put me in. Boom. I was like, damn, job locked down. And maybe a couple of weeks prior to them coming to Houston, she told me that, they're not running the Houston spot because it's a festival. So Score More is in charge of that. And I didn't have any contacts with Score More at the time, so I was pretty much left out in the dust. I mean, I was reaching out for tickets. I was reaching out to contacts. I even asked Lane 1, I'm like, y'all not doing nothing? I'll help you. Y'all coming to Houston or whatever, but they just not involved in anything. So I was just trying to do what I needed to do. That day, I just started driving around hoping I got that text message or call. And I just end up going to this pop-up shop and copping some Jordan 4s. But I would have rather, I would have wanted to go to the show because it was amazing. People still talking about it now. So Astroworld 2, with this one, I got the gig. I still purchased a ticket just in case.
Just in case? Okay.
Just in case.
Right?
Yeah, I sold it. But I had to do it because I did not want to get screwed. I did not want to go through that again.
I've done that. So I remember my second year for Firefly, I bought tickets because I was like, I'm just going to go this year. Like, it's going to be so fun. Again, this was before I decided I wanted to be an event coordinator, before I was going to work a festival every single year. Mm-hmm. And then they like emailed me and they're like, hey, are you going to come back? And I was like, yeah. So I sold my ticket, but I was just like, oh my God. And so I think that was the defining moment where I was like, oh wait, I can do this like reoccurring. Like this doesn't have to just like be a one-time thing for me. But yeah, so I completely understand that. I did that, I think with Bonnaroo too. I remember selling a Bonnaroo ticket. I don't remember what year it was. But yeah, and then yeah, so I've been where you are, where you've bought a ticket and then you ended up like getting a job to work, which is even better because now you're getting paid.
Oh, absolutely. That happened again for Childish Gambino during the This Is America tour. But the only thing is,
I bought tickets to that one and I went to that one because
I was like, I don't think
I could work that one. That's going to be one of those that like I want to fully enjoy as a fan and a fan only. And it was
awesome. And that would be my first time watching Childish Gambino, like watching the show. And I've had times where I had an opportunity to do it and I just missed it. And I was like very dead set to watch the show. Especially he announced this was like his last tour. I'm like, oh, I'm going.
You have to. Yeah, it was an amazing show. I love it. I've seen Childish, I think 5. Oh, that sounds right. 5-ish times now, somewhere around there. But love him every time. So.
Absolutely. Oh man. So back to Astroworld. Oh God. I'm trying to figure out how to start this nicely. Okay. Overall, how would you rate your experience working the Astroworld Festival?
So this was one of the first times I've worked with a brand and not the
Mm-hmm.
actual like festival.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with brands when it comes to corporate like clients and stuff because like their brand has to go out and do something, and so I've been on that side of things. But I've never worked for a brand that hired a third party, like what PG was for Nike.
Yeah.
So like when I've worked brands, I've just worked directly with that brand, right?
Yeah.
So like every time I do a corporate client, and I've done that. And so when I did South by Southwest, I was working directly with that brand to put on that show for South by. And then of course this year South by got canceled. And again, when I would have been working, it would have been with that brand directly and not with like a different company or something like that. So this was my first time like working with a third party for a brand. And I think that makes all the difference completely. I think it just had a lot to do with like communication, being kind of like passed along between like 4 or 5 different people instead of just it being like me and that brand or like 2 bosses or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So because of that, I mean, I don't want to like rate it super low, but it wasn't like my favorite, I guess, like situation that I'd ever been in. So like 6 or 7, 6, 7. Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay, I can respect that because it had its good moments and it had its bad moments. But when they were bad, they were bad. It was just like I understand if we were new, I would kind of get it. But the fact that we're experienced and we know what's supposed to happen and what's not supposed to happen, I don't think, just me speaking honestly, I don't think I would ever work for that company again. Just being honest.
Yeah, I just thought it was like, I understand being under a lot of stress. That is our entire job, obviously. Like, 95% of our job is being able to handle stressful situations. And I don't know if they did that very well. And I do truly think it may have had to do with the fact that they weren't from Houston. So they didn't really understand the inner workings of our city. They didn't really, I don't think they like got like they were just like, oh, I don't know if they like thought that because Houston seems really small on a map that it's actually not. And that things that are 5 miles away are still going to take you 50 minutes to get to at 5 p.m. Right.
Yes.
And also, I don't think they were ready for the type of Houston, not just like, I mean, you can throw a Travis Scott concert in New York and you're going to get crazy fans. But if you throw a Travis Scott concert in Houston, where he's from, like those fans are going to be out of this world. And so like, they were prepared for that either when they were like thinking of the design of what, we ended up building. Right. So,
yeah. And just,
it broke. So.
I think that upset me more that the product that we presented wasn't what it needed to be. It looked, even with the finished product, it looked thrown together.
Well, to me. Like, do you remember when Nike like came down on, what was it? They came out on Wednesday.
Yeah, they came Wednesday.
And they were like, we don't like it, so change it. The whole thing, change the whole, and like, so obviously our team now is like, the festival opens in 2 days. Like, you want us to change the whole thing? And they're like, yeah. So that's, yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that. Like, that it looked very thrown together, and it was. But
it also upsets me that we're not like a part of those conversations, because now I'm just guessing. Right. I'm just like, now I have this kind of like vision for that company. I'm just like, what were the conversation between Nike and PG before you guys got to town?
I agree completely. And then it was like, once they got to town, they were like, okay, well, we need you guys to go and get these items to make this scene happen. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to go buy the items that I think are going to look really great in that scene based off of what you told me, not what Nike told me. I'm going off of what you told me. But then when I go and get all of those things that you told me, and, you trusted me to like pick out whatever I needed for this and this, like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to do that. And, but then for Nike to come in and be like, oh, we don't like it. And then they're going to look at me and be like, hey, they didn't like it. And be like,
You told me to do.
You told me to. I was like,
Yes.
wait. Like, had I known Nike's original vision, maybe I would have like thought things differently. I really think both of us would have, to be completely honest. So
Absolutely. Oh, and just the amount of times we had to go make runs and we wasted so much time and money just going out and making those different runs. And a lot of their stuff, they could have pre-ordered online and we could have just picked it up and left. And they could have done that at the hotel.
Yeah. And another thing that made me really mad was whenever they would make an online order like that, they would make the order at like 8 a.m. and then they would, the minute they clicked like process, like order now or whatever, they're like, all right, go to the store and get it. And I'm like, do you know how order pickup works?
Yes.
That's not it. But like, and they're like, oh, it says 2 hour. And I'm like, not for that item. It says 2 hour on the website that's available for groceries. Like if you want like a bag of oranges, not if you need 8 snow shovels, because first of all, we're in Texas. So snow shovels don't exist. We've never had to use them here ever. We don't even know what snow shovels are. But did I have to go to Home Depot and like, I mean, I went to like 18 Home Depots. So
yeah, man.
Because they were like, oh, well, we ordered them online. And I was like, yes, they are going to be shipping from the Michigan Home Depot where they use snow shovels to the Houston one where we don't use snow shovels. So they're not just here. Like, we don't just readily have some of these items available because we don't need them.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that like blew my mind that they like didn't know how order pickup works, because I was just like.
And even some of the concepts they had in their head, just like painting the ground, like the when they was painting the basketball court lines and all that stuff. I'm like, how do you not have that vendor locked down already? Like, why am I calling my people to figure that out for you on a Tuesday before your show? That should have been figured out 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right, like you had that's my thing, like they had our contracts locked down. They knew that we were going to be working, so why didn't they also have these vendors who they needed for hay, who they needed to graffiti, who they needed to do this and that? Like, why weren't those locked in the same time that we were locked in, right?
Absolutely. Even the mascots, those are my friends. Those are people I locked in for.
I totally remember that, yeah.
I'm like, how do you not laugh this? Like 2 weeks, you should have been flying to Houston with all your I's dotted, T's crossed, ready to go. To me, and that if I would have did that and my company walked in half-assed, like I would not have a job. If I would have produced the product that they produce in that manner. So, but yeah, dealing with that overall product, I was not happy with. I wasn't happy with the organization. What happened with the communication? Man, we ate Popeye's chicken like every day. Popeye's chicken.
They made me run to go get Popeyes for that one dude. Like I literally had to run, jump the fence in the back because it was locked, because we obviously blocked off that area for Travis, and they were like, you need to go to Popeyes. It's like right down the street. And I was like, okay, like I need to go get my car. And they're like, no, you're not going to go get your car. You're going to go this way. You're going to like, I was like,
Angie,
so I literally ran to go get Popeyes. And then literally, so I'm running, I have my radio on, I have like my Nike bag on, and I have like my lanyard and everything on, because this was show day.
Yeah.
And I had everything on, and then I like get to Popeyes, and I'm like, oh, there's a line. And there's a line because it's like all the people that are like about to go into the festival, because like they're only here to see Travis and only Travis, and so they didn't go to the festival before, they're just going out. There's like a line of like 15 people. So I was like, oh my God, I have like 5 minutes to get back. So I was like, hey, you guys, like, I'm so sorry. And I've never done this before in my entire life. Like literally in my 26 years of life, I've never once done this. And I was like, I have to be in the front of this line. And I'm so sorry. I sound like such a bitch right now. And I truly apologize for this. But I am literally going to get my ass chewed out if I don't get back there with a spicy chicken sandwich for this client. So like, I have to get this. And they were just like, okay, whatever. Luckily for me, the 15 people that were in line were all drunk and high. So like, they were just like, they had no idea what was going on anyway. So they were just like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, oh my God, had it been a normal day, oh my God, I would have gotten my ass.
Oh yeah. I was like, those are festival goers. So they like they saw your badge, they saw your radio. They're like, oh, she works there.
But I'm saying, had this been like a day that was like pre-production, oh my God.
Oh no.
Off my ass beat. Because one, like, we're around NRG. Like, I'm literally about to, like, for cutting people.
Nah, you would have got cut. You would have got cut for trying to cut.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I was so embarrassed. Oh my God, I've never felt so embarrassed in my life. But
I didn't realize they told you to go to Popeyes. I thought you was doing that for the food trucks that were on site.
No. I was doing that for the client.
Dude,
where I had to literally run to Popeyes and get a chicken sandwich for that client.
And how do you not have access to catering? That blew my mind.
We didn't have access to catering.
No.
That's so weird.
And the main person from PG had to get in touch with Scoremore's person to try to get us access to get one meal because one of the mascot people were like gluten-free, vegan, nothing.
Yeah, I remember him. He was like gluten-free, but also vegan, but like couldn't have, something else or something. I don't know. It was a lot of dietary restrictions.
And I'm like, you're at a festival. These are all food trucks. There's no vegan vegetable food truck here.
One vegan place that had quote unquote vegan pancakes. And I'm pretty sure they were just like fried bananas.
Probably.
But yeah.
But yeah, he couldn't have pancakes. He couldn't have the grease or something. And he just he wasn't having it. Then, they end up sending me over there to get it. I remember the baby was on while I was walking over there. But they called me every 30 seconds to get an update. Oh my
God, yes.
I'm like, do you not know we're at a festival? Doors are open.
When we were doing like the dinner runs in general for like the whole team, first of all, I did feel bad that it was like taking me so long to like get everyone's stuff. But at the same time, I was like, bro, where do you want me to go?
You're getting food for 10 to 15 people. It's going to take a second.
Especially when there's only food trucks, and food trucks notoriously cannot make things in bulk, right?
Nope.
Which is something that I love about food trucks personally. I love going to a food truck, especially in Houston. There's so many of them around here, and getting like all of these amazing fresh food, and it's incredible every time. But you are going to wait.
Yeah, when they sent me on my lunch break, she was like, all right, you got 20 minutes. I'm like, it's going to take me 20 minutes just to walk to the food area. Good luck on that. I just went, and she kept calling me. I'm like, I'm still in line. I'm still in line. I'm still here.
I think I stood in line for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Because I was getting mine and 4 other people's dinner, I think.
Is that the one that you pulled your badge out and skipped to?
No.
You didn't do that one?
No,
yeah.
I didn't do that one.
Yeah, I just didn't get their thought process on everything. Like you put in you should have access to catering for your staff. Overall, that should have been the deal when you talked to the Scoremore, and I'm not sure why it was so hard to let what was like 8 of us, like 8 people catch a meal, catch a dinner. Mm-hmm. But it's
well, I mean, they probably just didn't really want catering. They probably just wanted to be able to go and get like really nice food and stuff. Like
no, they had no access to catering. Like she had to plead with that lady. That lady had to, during festival doors being open, she had to call somebody, and that person came from the Scoremore area back to where we were, which is on the other side of the park, to talk to her face to face.
We were in yellow, right?
Yeah. Like they were not having it. It was like, no, you don't have access to catering. We don't care. And it was like, this guy is working. I think Nike had to talk to him too.
Yeah, that was insane. It was catering literally only for artists?
No, it was for artists and the actual workers for Scoremore. So all those volunteers and stuff like that, and of course the people in the back, the hands and production individuals. That's what it was for. Okay. Artists were in a completely different area. The artist section. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was crazy, man. What else happened? So food, they were just really annoying. I blocked them at one point throughout the day because they kept calling me so much. I just had to turn my phone off because I was just like, you're getting really annoying at this point. Like we're grown individuals. We know what we're doing. It doesn't make sense for you to be calling us every 2 minutes. Then I put my life on the line. You remember that? For that giant paper mache basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they decided to, I was telling the story, they decided to hire a vendor to make a giant paper mache basketball, in which somebody else was going to come on site and paint that basketball.
I remember this. Yep.
When you hire a vendor to do something, make sure you have transportation for this particular item. Before you get into town, they came into Houston and they tried to order a box truck. There were no box trucks available that weekend, which is not surprising because it's football season and other stuff was going on, so I wasn't really surprised. I'm not sure the proper term, but it's like a box truck without the box. It's just a straight like forklift. So there's no covering a shell. It's literally a truck and nothing but wood space for you to put something on top of it. Yeah, flatbed, excuse me. Yeah, flatbed. Giant flatbed.
Right.
They sent me to the other side of the city to pick up this flatbed, drive that flatbed to Sugarland, and not to a warehouse like you think a vendor might be or a company. They hired a lady from Etsy or whatever, and I drove into a neighborhood with this giant flatbed truck. And I'm like, what the hell?
I remember when, wasn't I was like supposed to go with you or something, but then they pulled me off to go do something else. And I think that was like when I had to go and try and find all of those footballs that we needed.
Oh yeah.
So while you were driving down to Sugarland, I was just legitimately driving to every single Target, and it had to be a Target because Target was like the only one that had these like balls available.
The Nerf ones.
Because Walmart, if you go on their website, it was like these like refill balls are only available online or whatever, but Target had them in store. So I literally, I'm not joking, went to at least 9 or 10 Targets like during the whole entire thing looking for footballs.
Yeah, we were ripping and running across town unnecessarily, man. So I drove into this lady's parking in front of her parking lot, and it's an old lady, a husband, and like a daughter, and they have this giant basketball, and I'm just looking at them, and I'm looking at this truck. I'm like, how is this going to work? We literally had to take straps and strap this paper mache on top of this giant flatbed, and me drive 45 minutes from Sugarland to NRG on a regular day. And now I can only go 25 miles per hour because the wind will take that paper mache thing right off. Like, it looked really janky, and I could have got pulled over driving that thing like that.
I thought the vendor would, as an artist, when you sell your piece, usually you have a way to transport it so that it doesn't get messed up, right?
You would think.
I feel like every artist that I've ever ordered from, or had something, because like I've had to order like huge pieces for some of the events that I've had. Obviously, a lot with my just with my corporate offices, whenever we do like these huge shareholder meetings and stuff, like we have these these giant art pieces like flown out, and these like sculptures flown out that are like placed throughout the room for all the shareholders to like look at and like bid on and stuff. And it's like a whole thing. But like every time I've ordered it, it's like the artist has always ensured like a safe way to transport it because it's their work, right? Like that, like they just spent God knows how many hours on this piece. So they want to make sure that when they give it to you, that it's safe, right? And I thought that was kind of weird that you didn't have that situation at all. Like you didn't have that scenario. She was just like, here's a paper mache ball. And you're like, oh.
And she was still working on it when I got there, Angie. She was still putting stuff on it. It was still wet.
Oh my God.
I'm like
you definitely know while driving down the road, like the wind, like for sure changed the shape of this.
Oh no, I had to stop about 3 or 4 times to readjust it because the wind kept picking it up and moving to the side. Oh, and I put a dent in it.
Imagine if you're doing this on the day that it was like raining, because it did rain that one day.
No, I was lucky. We was like, can you hurry up and get back before it rains? I'm like, I'm worried about my life. I'm not worried about this ball. You can have it. If it's wet, it's your fault. But no, that was crazy. That was endangering somebody. So that, I think that was like one of the things that put like the nail in the coffin for me in regards to this company by doing that, because I was pissed off the entire time driving back.
Oh, well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what else happened? Oh, the end of the night. That was it. The end of the night, the disrespect. I've never been more disrespected in my life. I've never worked a gig or worked any show and have the person I'm working for tell me that, hey, Nike has their purses, their bags, and everything else in the locked area. I'm sorry, what is it called? Tent, not tent. Box. A trailer, yeah. In the locked trailer. We don't want you to go to the show, even though you're off at this moment. We want you to stay right here and watch their stuff in this locked trailer while we go enjoy the show. We're going to go to the show. We're going to VIP. You stay here for the rest of the night.
With a guard.
With a guard that was 10 feet away.
Not just like one guard. There was like two like at the fence. And there was like two at that side fence. And then there was like one literally in front of our trailer.
And it was a police officer walking back and forth. And this is where the artists were coming in. So it's not like it was public.
Yeah, like literally every artist had to drive through our trailer to get to the stage that they needed to get to. Whether it was the main stage or that, what was that other stage called? I don't remember.
I think it was like Thrills and Chills.
Yeah, so like my lights are flickering, by the way. If you see
all good.
Happening, but yeah, so like every artist, no matter what stage you're going to, had to drive through our area. So like that was on lock, like 100% just locked down. And yeah, I am gonna be honest, I truly can't believe that I sat in the trailer for 6 hours.
Angie, I was so mad at you.
I know you're so mad at me. I was mad at myself because like I'm really bad at just being like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I've always like, and this goes back to like college days as well. Like I've always just been like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, yeah, that's fine. I got this. Like, and someone, like one of my oldest friends, she was just like, she's one of those people that like believes in like astrology and all that. Like, I don't really care for any of that, but she was just like, that's like very Virgo of you. Like, you're just going to take on everything regardless of whatever problems you've got already going on. But you're like, oh, that's cool. I got this one. Don't worry about it. All because you want to avoid your own problems. And I was like, oh my God, don't like call me out like that. But yeah, like I have like the worst time just being like, no, I don't really want to do that. And I think one of the biggest reasons why I was like, you know what, like I don't really care if I like have to sit back here because I knew I was gonna see Travis again like twice that year. So
yeah.
You know, like, or I had just seen him twice before this. So it was like, I'm not gonna see anything new. The only song that he had released at the time was Highest in the Room, which I didn't actually want to like be able to enjoy because I love that song. It's so freaking good. But yeah, I was like, I've already seen him. Like, I'm good. I'm not like super into the whole, like, I'm not going to mosh or anything like that. Like, it's like not my thing. So had I like actually been like a really, really, really big fan or I had never seen him live, like, I think I would have totally cared. But at that point in the night, after having to run to Popeyes, my level of like giving crap about anything was so low that I was like, yeah, I'll do it. It's fine. And I watched so much Netflix that night. Like, I literally just sat in the room watching Netflix and eating all of their snacks.
Oh man, they was so anal about the snacks too. Like, make sure nobody touches the snacks. They didn't even eat the snacks. They didn't even touch them.
I ate them.
You ate them all. Yeah. Oh
well,
man,
I couldn't leave to go get food.
You couldn't leave to do anything. Because for the people, she asked me first. This young girl who was our coordinator at the time, and she was a freelancer herself, but she was our liaison at the time. She came to me.
Was her position the one that you had originally applied for?
No.
Are you sure?
Mm-mm.
Because I think she handled all the travel.
Really?
Yeah, like for all of them. Like she's the one.
No. So the position was posted by Scoremore.
Oh.
She was like an intern coordinator, freelance contractor.
Okay, that's why I was like so confused. I was like, had it been Cube in her position instead, like, oh my God,
no.
my time would have
had it.
I would have had so much more fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely not. And she was pretty young. She was in her low 20s, and I didn't want to like belittle her, and I just, whatever she said, yes ma'am, no ma'am, whatever, because I didn't want This may be her first gig or a third gig, and you never know. She may be trying to fight for a job with that company right now. So I don't want to be disrespectful, and this is not my character. But she was doing some disrespectful things, man. She was coming to ask me to do that, and I wasn't having it. I straight up told her no. We just work a 12-hour day. This is the whole point. I took this gig to be able to watch this show. If I didn't take this gig, I'll be at the show as a festival goer anyway. There's no way I'm missing no more of the show. Mm-hmm. And they were just such sticklers too, especially when Travis came around the night before with the students, and they were just like, they pushed us to the back of the trailers as we were not allowed to be around any stars, as if we were going to do something bad to him or whatever.
And like right after that, they were like, "Hey, Angie, can you go do this?" And I'm like, "Is it clear for me to do it? Like, are you going to yell at me if he like is in 50 feet of me? Like, are we good?" I'm like, and then they're like, "Yeah, no, go ahead." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And like, it was fine. And I was like, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but most of us are professionals, and we're not going to fangirl. We know better, and also none of us really care that much, to be completely honest. Like, once you get to a certain point in your career doing what we do, you see an artist and you're like, cool.
Yeah.
Or half the time you're like, who's that? Like, it's like not even, it's like who was that? And I'm like, oh, wait, my bad. So yeah, it's just like, it was one of those things that I've never had someone distinctively have to tell me like, hey, don't fangirl. And I was like, isn't that like the standard?
It wasn't even just telling you. They didn't even tell you not to fangirl. They treated you like children and placed you in the corner. And that's why I didn't like. It was a lack of communication. If they would have told us, hey, Travis coming doing this and explain to us the situation, hey, he doesn't want this, I would understand. But you did not communicate and treat us like human beings. And that's what I did not appreciate.
Yeah. Honestly, had they just been like, hey, Travis is coming in 15 minutes. Can y'all go chill in the back? I'd have been like, cool.
They're like, hey, go in the back, go in the back, go in the back. I'm like, what? So I just happened to hear somebody else saying, oh, Travis coming over here. Or Kanye might be coming over.
Well, I knew it because I was working with, I can't remember his name, but not the guy that designed it. My lights are going insane. Not the guy that designed the activation that we had, but the one that was like the head of the build. I was like working with him a lot on like getting all the supplies and stuff. Like me and him were pretty like on the same level as far as like anytime he needed something, he was just like, Angie, go get it, or Angie, go do this. So like I was like working with him. So like I had known that he was coming
for a while
through the day. Yeah, because they were like, we have to make sure this and this is ready. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, I got you. So like I had known, but like I still like because I'd known, I thought they like already understood that like I wasn't going to like freak out, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird.
And I thought the whole day, I'm like, at what point did we distribute the type of behavior that we were going to be unprofessional in front of any star? You know, I just don't remember just having that. And even when we were sitting in the trailer when it was like raining or whatever, we just chatted, which I kind of understand how they treated the other person that we worked with because of what she was talking about. I know
exactly what story you're talking about right now. Yeah. So let's not, I don't want to put her,
I'm not going to put her on blast.
I'm not going to put the story on blast or anything, but because I know other people heard that and it was not just us, I 100% am like, okay, maybe that's what people like,
I'm like, that probably not the best story to tell.
I feel like me and you listening to that story, we were both just kind of like,
you're still talking, huh?
Okay. I don't think we said anything that was above one choice that whole time. I think me and you were just like, okay, stick it to one syllable answers. Don't incriminate yourself. Don't be a part of this. Don't agree.
Don't agree. Don't deny. Don't. You're not a part.
Yeah, we're like, all right. So yeah, you did that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. So that's the only, I'm with you on that. That's the only time I can think of them being like, oh my God, who are these people that we hired? But at the same time, I'm like, don't lump us together.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a break from Astroworld because I'm getting riled up. Just in case I take a shot just because of how stressed out I am.
I love that. I love it. You've got to. It's quarantine.
Oh man. All right. So I want to play a game called One Has to Go. I'm going to give you 5 items.
Okay.
You're going to decide what item is out of here and why it's out of here, okay? So if it's a person, that person and all their work is out of here. Is a thing, everything that thing is associated with it is out of here, okay?
Got it. Let's go.
All right, one has to go. Beyonce.
She's staying no matter what, period.
Okay.
She's staying.
Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Lady Gaga or Rihanna.
All right.
And that's everything. So if you're a big fan of Rihanna's makeup and she's staying? Okay.
So Rihanna and Beyonce are staying.
Okay.
I have said this for so long that I'm totally for everyone having difference of opinions. I am very, very open about that, and I always have been when it comes to any aspect of life, especially. But with music too, I was like, you know what? You can like your music, I can like my music, like whatever. Beyonce is not one of those things you're allowed to disagree on. Like, you're wrong if you don't agree with me, period. There's no discussion on that. And I've honestly kind of feel the same way about Rihanna because she's a powerhouse. I mean, when it's not just when it comes to music, but like just in general as a person, she is a freaking powerhouse. Literally right before we got on this call, I was on her makeup site.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I kind of need new foundation. I'm going to look at it. So like she has created so many different empires for herself that I completely admire. And she's always been her own person. She's always been very, true to herself. And I love that. And same goes for Beyonce. She's created a number of empires as well. And she's been very good about lifting up other artists, and I think that's really important, especially for someone in her position. So those two are staying. So now I'm down to Mariah Carey and Lady Gaga.
Yes.
All right, listen. I can go my whole life without hearing Shallow from Lady Gaga or what is that one song that she had, like the
Bad Romance, Telephone.
Yeah, all of those. I could honestly, I can go my whole life without hearing those and not be as affected as if I went my whole life without hearing All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Oh man, that's a fire job.
Like if I don't hear that, I think if I had not heard that growing up, my life may be somewhat different.
Okay.
But if I would have grown up without listening to Lady Gaga, I don't think anything would change in my life currently.
Okay,
I can see that. Lady Gaga's got to go.
She's out of here.
I think she's a great artist. I think she's incredible. I think she has one of the greatest voices ever.
Have you seen her live?
I don't think her impact means as much as the other three. Gotcha.
Have you seen her live?
I have not, actually. I have not seen Lady Gaga live.
She's pretty dope. I saw her when she came to Houston. So if concerts ever come back, if she ever picks her thing back, I know she had a residency at Las Vegas. So if she ever does that again, highly recommend.
Oh, for sure. I think it's one of those shows that like you just go to see because it's like, and it's an iconic show. Mm-hmm. So like, even though like there are people who shouldn't be in my life, but somehow still are, who are like, I don't really like Beyonce. And I'm like, okay. They will 100% admit and say that if they were ever given a chance to see Beyonce, without having to pay like $400, which is something I would pay for to go see her because I love her. But like, if they were like, if I didn't have to pay $400 to go see her, I totally would. And I think I would really appreciate the way she does her shows, her production, the way she performs live and everything. So like, yeah, I think it's on the same level. Like I like Lady Gaga. I don't know if I would spend $400 to go see her. I'd probably spend like $200 to go see her. But yeah, I think I would 100% appreciate everything that she has put in into her work. I think it's probably absolutely mind-blowing to see live.
Did you work with us for on the Run too?
No, I did not. I just went to the show.
You just went to the show. Oh, man. Which night did you go?
There's a lot of concerts that like everyone's like, oh my god, why didn't you work that? Like that's like so you. And I'm like, there's quite a few that like I would rather just be a fan, and that's something that is new. So my very first year doing all of these like festivals and all, oh my god.
Okay.
But like when I first started this, it was like, I'm going to take any job and every job and whatever. And then my second year coming around, it was almost kind of like that again. And this was starting my third year. And what's funny is before all of this coronavirus stuff happened, and towards the end of last year as well, so probably about, I don't know, maybe September, so around my birthday last year, I told myself, I was like, I need to remember why I got into this because burnout is real.
Oh, yeah.
burnout is super real in our industry. Overworking yourself is super real. And I will 100% say I definitely did. There was one time where I had like 9 shows in a week, and everyone was like, how did you, there's 7 days in a week. How'd you have 9? I was like, I don't want to talk about it. Okay. I don't want to go through that again. I don't need to remember what I did. I don't need to remember any of that. But I mean, it was a mess. So I was definitely one of those people that like overworked herself, overbooked herself, like literally just took every opportunity because I thought what I needed to do to stay relevant in our industry. And some point there is like, you do need to make sure you stay relevant, and you do make sure you need to stay connected and, you know, grab up the opportunities that are given to you if they make sense now. But I told myself I need to become a fan of what I do again. Otherwise I'm going to lose my path. So my New Year's resolution, which I'm so mad that I can't complete this year.
Okay.
I was going to go to one show or one sporting event as a fan, and like purchase tickets or be given tickets or something, but like not work it before or something like that and then go or something like that. Like I just wanted to go as a fan and just enjoy my time there with a friend, like drink, like whatever, do whatever I need to do. And I was like doing so well. Like January, it was great. I went to the college football playoffs in New Orleans because LSU. Which was an insane weekend, but they had their concert series there. So we saw Bastille, Meghan Trainor, and Tim McGraw perform. So that was like my, you know, January and February. I went and saw Chelsea Cutler, who I absolutely adore. And I was like, this is so great. And then March comes around and I was like, oh, March, I'm so excited for March. Like I've got, you know, I'm going to go to a basketball game. Like I've got like this game picked out. I think it was like a Pelicans Rockets game or something like that. Like with, you know, I was going to see Zion for the very first time. I was like, excited. I was like, yes, like I'm going to finally get to see Zion play. And then
Corona
and then also March was like the rodeo shows. I'm so excited. Like, and everyone's like, oh, you can go see Lizzo. And I was like, no, I'm working that day for a different artist. So like, I can't go see Lizzo, but I do really want to go see like, Khalid was on the lineup. So I was like, I want to Khalid. And he was like on a Wednesday or something. So it was like super easy to get tickets. And I was like dead set and ready to like go see Khalid. And then, So, so I didn't have anyone for March, and I didn't have anyone for obviously April. It is now May. I don't think I'm going to have anyone for May. So June, I'm definitely not going to have anyone. July, I might have baseball. I could maybe go to a baseball game.
Hopefully.
I don't know. They're talking about fanless baseball, so I might not actually get to go to a baseball game either.
I think that's one sport that and basketball can probably do without the fans, but I just can't see it without football because it's so grand.
Fans? Okay, so this is gonna sound really selfish, and that's fine. I am obviously an LSU alum. We just won the national championship. Okay, I am stoked. I'm gonna be running high on this forever. But so last year I went to Austin to go to the LSU UT game, which is the defining game where everyone was like, Joe Burrow. Oh my God, that 3rd and 17 call. Are you kidding me? So I mean, it's like finally coming home to us, like where we're going to play UT in our stadium. And my little sister is going to be starting LSU in the fall. So like this was going to be our first game together. Her as a student, me as an alum. And it's against Austin, which the rest of our family went to UT. So like our family in Austin, we're going to fly in, and we all like had an Airbnb like ready and picked out.
That's dope.
And it's like, if this doesn't happen, I am going to be so upset. And they're like, oh, we're still going to play it, but like, you can't come. I'm going to be like, what do you mean I can't come? You're telling me I can't watch this live? Like, I'm going to be so upset. So like, I really need our nation to figure this out. And I understand that like a vaccine is going to take so long to develop, but if we can find a way to not overwhelm our healthcare system so that the doctors can properly treat every single person that actually comes through, that's fine. I understand a lot of people are going to get sick. We know that. We get that. We just need to make sure that it's not to a number where the hospitals are too overwhelmed to actually deal with it. If a lot of people get sick, but there's enough resources at every single hospital to deal with it, then we're good.
I got you.
If not, then we're not.
Absolutely.
So I'm just like, I really need and hope all of this comes back for September. But also just like banking off of my sister going to LSU, this is her first year. This is like the best time of her life to go to LSU. Like we
Oh, she's a freshman, right?
Yeah, we literally just won the national championship. If you're gonna be a freshman at LSU, this is the year to be a freshman at LSU, right? So if she has to go to LSU without football, without basketball, who, by the way, Shaquille O'Neal's son just transferred over. So
I didn't hear about that. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like this is such a big year for us sports wise. So in the fall we've got gymnastics, we've got basketball, we've got football, obviously, and then we also have our fall fest, which is like a big deal. That's like something that I was on the board for as well. And it's like if she goes to LSU without all these activities, it's like, girl, you could have just stayed home and gone to college because there's the whole reason to go to LSU is all of this extra stuff that you can't get at a normal college.
Absolutely.
Right?
So, and a lot of colleges are already talking about not allowing in-class work to happen anymore. They're just going to do online for the fall semester and still charge the regular rate. And I'm like,
insane. Well, I know for sure that LSU has moved all of their summer classes online because I think my sister is already enrolled for one of them. And so she's like a little genius. She's everything opposite of me, basically. She's the greatest human being alive. I love her. But for sure, she was like thinking about like scheduling all of her classes and stuff, and like she hasn't even been able to do that because as a freshman, you can go down to LSU and you can schedule in person, and they do like a whole tour and they do all this thing, and I did that. And she obviously hasn't been able to do that. So I'm like, have you been able to schedule classes online? And she was like, I don't know if they're opening that for fall yet because they don't know if we're going to have to schedule for online courses or if we're going to be able to schedule for like actual classes. Because if it's an online capacity, then there's no such thing as a cap anymore, right? Like you don't like, remember those days where you'd schedule a class and they'd be like, oh, this class is full.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want me to take an extra semester of school because I can't get into this class?
Yeah.
That's like no longer an issue because you can fit more people into an online class than you could in a regular class. So I know that that's all been stalled as well when it comes to like college. How did I survive that? Where did we? Yeah, no, it's wild being in production and being on ops, but it's the most fun I've ever had.
Oh, absolutely. You're gonna see some stuff, and you're gonna go through some stuff, man. You're gonna have a lot.
You're gonna see some stuff. You're gonna do some stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of you've done a lot in your career, going from a scientist to an event coordinator, you traveled, done festivals, you have these clients. What is your future goals? Where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years?
Oh my God. So what's so funny is like this year, 2020 for me, I had like everything mapped out on like where my life was going to go. And I was like on track for it too. Like that's the worst part of this was like, I was like on track to doing exactly everything that I needed and everything that I had wanted to like excel in my career and like move to that next stage and move to that next step. And then Corona happened. And now I'm like,
question mark.
Now I'm back in like 2018 Angie, restarting, like doing like, you know, it's literally like I'm starting all over again. And I know that's what a lot of people feel like. And that's what they're going to feel like when they're starting to apply for jobs and stuff like that again, once, you know, those jobs become available again. But yeah, so I have always, I'm so mad that I said this because I feel like I accidentally spoke it into the universe. I did say that last year, that this year, 2020 would be my last year working as a freelance event coordinator in music, and that I wanted to sign on full-time at a company after this year, whether it be in music or whether it be in sports. And I've always just said, I was like, this is going to be my last year in music, because I think I was like already in the mindset that I was probably going to end up moving full-time to sports or moving full-time to corporate, because I have thoroughly enjoyed my corporate clients and I really do love them. And I know that me and them work really well together. So it would be one of those situations where I would probably sit one of them down and ask, you know, if this was something that I would get to move into full time. In that case, I would have to, you know, drop my other clients and then just move to them full time, which is something that I was like beginning to be okay with. And then of course this happened. But yeah, so I for the next few years, I do see myself in that same position. Like I do see myself moving out of freelance, and I do see myself signing on to do something full time. I don't know if it is going to be like in what industry it's going to be in, but I do see myself like actually having something a little bit more stable. I don't want something so stable that like I'm at a desk 24/7 or that I'm like, you know, just like in one spot or one city for a really, really long time. Unless it has to be like a really cool place. Like I don't think I would be able to do it like in Houston. So if I took a full-time job in Houston, it would have to like include traveling somewhere. Which one of my corporate clients, they have a lot of offices everywhere else. So that would be pretty cool. I already do travel a lot for them, which is great. But yeah, so I know some people know this about me that a lot of people don't, but before all of this happened, I was in an interview with a sports team in Boston, and I had actually made it through 4 rounds of interviews.
Wow.
Just like really insane if you think about it, because like first of all, that's a lot of interviews. There's a lot of interviews. There's a lot of work to go through. It was a lot of like work on my end too, because we like little things. Like the very first thing we had to do was just like, first of all, like apply, and then like the initial interview, and then it was like a like screening where we had to like write this like paper on like different topics that they like wanted us to like answer. And then the third project was like a video screening and a video interview. So it was like a screening and an interview. So like there's like questions that we had to answer, but then it was also like an interview like with other people. And then the last project was like they gave us like an event, and they're like, plan this event the way you would want to do it at our venue and how you would execute this basically. And it has to be a brand new event. It can't be an event that has happened here before, or an event that, you know, we are already in the process of doing something like that. So you really have to like create an event or bring an event that's never been here. And I was like, okay, first of all, like normally I would be all for it. I'd be like, yes, like I got that. But the sports team that I was in the interviews with, they have done quite literally everything. And I'm talking, they have somehow put a freaking, like, they had a snowboarding competition in their arena.
What?
And I was like, they literally built snow ramps. Like, when I say they have done everything, they have done everything. So it was so hard for me to come up with an event or find an event that hasn't happened there and bring it to that stadium. But I finally found one, and I like submitted my proposal and everything for it. And it was like a really good proposal. I worked super hard on it. And then like 2 weeks after I submitted it, they were like, hey guys, we're so sorry. We don't know where, you know, hiring is going to go right now. So everything's just been paused. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this was like, and I really do. I love Boston, and I've been wanting to move up there. And the whole goal was to get up there by August. And so having this position, I would have been up there. Yeah. So I do see myself moving, and I do see myself hopefully signing on and doing something full time, but in a capacity that wouldn't keep me, you know, still. Because I've noticed in the past 2 months that I have been very still. This is not the life for me.
Oh man, it's been
anyone that's weird. Like, oh my God, I love working at home. I'm like, what?
The only reason I like working at home for a small period of time is I don't have to drive almost an hour to work every day, Monday through Friday. Yeah. That's the only good thing. So I'm saving on gas and mileage. But there have been times where I've taken my laptop, I've gotten my car, I went down the street to the park. I just need a new environment.
You need a new environment. Yeah. There's only so many places. So I have like a really cool deck. I've been out on the deck a lot. I sit here on my dining room table. I'm in my room. And I'm like, okay, I need like another like thing. I've sat in parks. I've literally like sat in my car in the parking garages of one of my clients' offices. I'm like, hey, Wi-Fi still works from out here. I can't go in the office, but I can sit in the car. And like I'm there. So I've done that. Like, and normally I'm a coffee shop worker. Huge fan of coffee shop working. It's kind of where I've done most of my work, to be completely honest. Obviously those aren't open anymore, so like I can't go to a coffee shop. And I'm like, okay, but I'm like, a part of me like wants them to open, but I'm like, no, wait, I'm okay if they don't open. So just like constantly trying to find a new environment. I've gone to like, so there's only one other person that I've seen essentially outside of my roommate. Her name is Catherine. She also works for the Astros, but she was already pretty much quarantining with us. Like she was like at our house like when this like dropped. So we were like, okay, well you're a part of the team now, basically. But I've gone to her apartment because she's really the only other person that both Paige and I have seen, and we're the only people that she has seen. So it's just like there's only so many places you can go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hopefully we'll get back to a normal in the next couple of weeks, hopefully safely, and not have a relapse of this situation, because I mentally can't take it. My job can't take it whatsoever, because we
absolutely.
Like I'll say at least 40% of our clients and our corporate partners are oil and gas, and oil and gas are struggling.
Those are my corporate partners right now, which is why I'm like so surprised that I like still technically have a job with them. I'm so grateful for it. Like, don't get me wrong, absolutely grateful. But they have been really helpful on like, they're like, oh, we'll just move you into a different position. So instead of like doing events, since there's obviously not any for me to throw, they're like, can you help us out with this admin portion or whatever? And what is really great about, you know, me moving into a different position with them is that they know that I know what and all of these different words mean and what all these different processes are, because I was a scientist, because I did work on a refinery. And so they trust me on that aspect on them. They're like, oh, wait, we can throw her into that and she can work on this because she knows what it is. She understands it. And it's not like anything crazy. Like I'm not doing what I used to do by any means. I'm not out in the field. I'm not collecting lab samples or anything like that. But can I actually read the processes and, you know, figure out what you need to do and write that report for you? 100%. Can I do the admin work for you there? Yeah, absolutely. So like they've luckily kind of shifted me into different positions, which has been really nice. But then of course I have, you know, the one client that's still trying to get me to do events that I can't really like do just yet. But yeah, so oil and gas is super struggling. But
I was enjoying the dollar gas for a while, but I was just like, now I know why it's $1, and just like it didn't sit with me well. So
yeah, I have a gas card, and it literally, like the company that my gas card's with, like they literally sent me an email. They're like, "Hey, are you good? Like you have, we've never seen you inactive," because I obviously travel a lot for my work, right?
Yeah.
And so they're just like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "Buddy, read the room. Come on."
It was funny to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm. All right. Any advice for any newcomers trying to come into the entertainment industry?
Ooh. I think what I wish I would have had when I was starting this, that I am trying to do more of, is be a really good mentor to people. Find you a good mentor. When you work your first show, you work your first event or whatever it is, find someone that you really connect with. And it helps if that person is in a superior position than you, because they can and they will, you know, teach you things that you are not going to need to do for your current position that you're with at that event. But knowing and understanding that aspect of what they do will eventually help you in what you do, and being able to learn from them and gain their trust. They are going to remember that. And if they see you work really hard, they will, you know, remember that and call you back for that same event or call you for a different event. Because a lot of the mentors that I have, they travel a lot as well. So they don't just stick with one thing. But I mean, yeah, just find a mentor, find a really good one that you connect with, not one that like, you know, there's obviously super powerful people out there and they're like, oh my God, the CEO of Live Nation is like the God of all gods. And of course I want that person to be my mentor. Yes, he's a very powerful person, of course, but are you going to get a chance to sit down with him and talk to him one-on-one? Probably not. So find someone that you connect with personally, that has gone, not saying that the CEO of Live Nation has not gone through the struggles that we have gone through, because maybe he has, but if you see someone that has gone through the struggles that you are going through, who have done it recently or are still going through them, I think it just kind of helps get you through this, because this job is hard. It's not easy, especially with the amount of things that you have to apply for, things that you're going to get rejected from, things that you're not going to understand, that you don't know because you haven't been exposed to it yet. And so you have to learn it on the fly. Having someone there that is going to help you without judging you, because you are a newcomer is so important, because I know what it's like to be the newcomer and be like judged and be like, oh my gosh, she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, why is she here? It's like, well, we all have to start somewhere. So either you help me and we figure this out together, or you're going to stand there looking at me like I'm an idiot and now there's 2 idiots in the room. So let's work on this together. So yeah, just connect with people and make sure you keep those connections up. I think that's kind of the biggest advice that I can give to someone. And I want to make sure that like people know that I can also do that for them if they ever see me in that position. I don't know if anyone does. I don't think anyone should just yet. But if you do, that's pretty cool. I have had people reach out to me before, and I've always tried to connect them as much as I can with whatever resources that I have.
That's dope. That's dope. I love it. All right, so we're wrapping this up. I really appreciate you hopping on this. We've been on for over 2 hours.
I know, that's wild. But we knew that we were going to talk a lot about a lot of stuff. And like, you're welcome to edit anything out. I don't really care. It's up to you. It's your show. And I totally understand that. So yeah, I was excited that you invited me on here. And I was really excited to talk about our experiences, but just mine as well, to kind of give a little bit more insight.
Absolutely. And I know you've been through a lot. I'm gonna have you back on in the future as things hopefully progress and shows start back happening.
New things to tell you.
Absolutely. So this portion of the show, I just want to utilize this space for you to let me start it over. Blah, cut. All right. All right. So I just want to use this space of the show for you to do your promo, whatever you're working on. Shout out your social media. If you want to put your cash app, I do not mind. Whatever you got going on in life, this is your space to do so.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm not going to make anyone Venmo me money. I'm pretty okay with that. But you know who does need to Venmo me? Our president, because I still haven't gotten my stimulus check.
What?
Yeah, I know. I haven't got it yet. I don't know where it is.
Oh my God.
Anyways, but yeah, no, I don't really have anything to promote. I'm kind of just chilling right now. If anyone wants to hire me to plan their event, I've got you. I can probably do it. I don't care how small it is. You want me to plan a photo shoot for you? You want me to plan a birthday party for you? A baby shower, a wedding? I'll do it. I will probably knock down all of your ideas if they have to do with burlap and lace, because I don't. And I will find out something new for you. But if you need recommendations on vendors in Houston or pretty much anywhere, I've got a pretty extensive list. So definitely anyone that needs to reach out to me, if they're like, hey, I don't know where to get this, like I can probably find it for you. One of the biggest things that I had to find before my festival got canceled, I had to find a Ferris wheel to travel to Delaware, and I found one.
Nice.
So I'm telling you, like, if you like, I've got a pretty extensive vendor list, and a lot of them are my friends now. And a lot of them are clients that I've worked with for quite a few years now that I continually bring back, whether it's a DJ, whether it's a tenting company, a Ferris wheel. But yeah, just I want to just essentially be able to uplift those people because I've worked with them before and I can definitely attest to them. So if you're ever looking for a vendor, come to me.
Gotcha. You want to drop your social media to the people?
Yeah, my social media, I think both my Twitter and my Instagram are the same. So it's AVNGUYEN with 2 underscores. And I am not super active on my Instagram. But I'm more active on my Twitter, and that's a lot of me just retweeting like really funny memes. Some cats, some dogs, some dark humor stuff. So if you really want to know our personality, Twitter's where it's at.
Okay. Is somebody also, if they want to reach out to you, should they reach out to you on your LinkedIn? Is that okay?
You can do LinkedIn, or you can DM me. I've had a lot of people DM me before on questions and stuff like pretty much anything. Yeah, when you tag me in on this, you're welcome to DM me. I think my profile should be public, so you're more than welcome to do that as well. If you want it to be more professional, then yes, by all means, reach out to my LinkedIn. I'll answer either way.
I got you. Angie, thank you so much once again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you for doing this, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You have a great rest of the Friday.